Hey everyone, it's Christian Lasval. We are here on the floor of the National Religious Broadcasters Convention, and I'm joined right now by Mark from Lantern Rescue. Now, his face and his face is blurred and the voice is altered because the work that he does at Lantern Rescue actually poses a threat to his person and to his family. So we've had to keep his identity a secret. But Mark, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm really looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Look forward to talking about this.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to have you. And just for our viewers, what exactly is Lantern Rescue? Why is this something that we have to blur your face out for this interview?
Yeah, sure. So Lantern Rescue is made up of former law enforcement, special forces, intelligence contractors, and other functions of people that are in the fight to counter human trafficking. We're a USA-based foundation, Lantern Rescue, but our representation overseas is we are the Counter Human Trafficking Joint Task Force. We operate in multiple regions, mostly probably hard to get conflict areas, war zones, places where gangs have quite a hold, cartels, and so we work in those environments. Lantern became it's a God thing. Okay, first of all, let's make that clear. God provides, He gives what He wants done, and He cares tremendously for victims. He cares for the oppressed. He cares for those in vulnerable situations. But really, where I got into this is because I was working against ISIS, doing extraction, in the Middle East, and I realized that a lot of people were bringing a wiffle bat to a baseball game. They really weren't equipped to do what needed to be done on a tactical level, as well as a government level, to build a sustainable fight against human trafficking in that region of the world.
So you were experiencing this sort of stuff in your deployment then? When you were out there, you witnessed this firsthand?
Yeah. I was actually I was actually in part of a commission and team to work on extractions from ISIS.
People trafficked through ISIS.
Yeah, okay. ISIS cells. Man, they kidnapped Yazidi children and girls, and every ISIS cells had children and victims that they were doing organ harvesting, sex slavery, forced brides, all of that, right? But all around the world, there's a lot of stats people can research. We don't have to waste time on that. It's overwhelming what's happening around the world, and we're just trying to counter that. So we're an offensive. We're not an anti-trafficking group. We're a counter-trafficking group. We are working hard to go against it on the offense.
Yeah, one of the things that makes Lantern Rescue so special is that you actually have deployment teams that train people in other countries and actually perform some of the extractions themselves. How have you been able to do that? Because, and this is something that I'd love for you to address for our audience as well, is in America, we're very used to a law enforcement that's generally good. It's dads who go home to their wife and kids and they're interested in serving and protecting their communities because they love those communities. But in other countries, it's very easy for them to show up to a call and somebody has enough cash on hand and they'll turn a blind eye. Talk about that.
Sure. First of all, the law enforcement in the States, they are incredible. And I do sit on the board with Operation Lightshine also, which runs is the founder of the Intercept Task Force here in the States. So I do have consultation and my blood and sweat in this place too. But overseas, our strategy is to go into a region of the world, work at the highest level of that government we can. So we're going to get into, Prime Minister, Minister of Defense, Inspector General, the highest level, and create a relationship and an agreement there. And then from that, we will train a task force from maybe like their SWAT unit. So I'm not going to deal with local cops. Okay, I just cut out a lot of corruption. I'm going to try to deal at a level with a unit that has jurisdiction over the whole country. And in partnership with us, along with maybe undercover operators that I hire, that we teach and train, investigators, and in partnership with us and the Attorney General's office and all that, we will begin to do the operations. In some parts of the world, that's raids, man. That's kicking a door down and showing them tactically, here's how we do an extraction. Here's how we do arrest. They don't know. I mean, a police officer there in a foreign country at a best level, maybe he came to America for 2 weeks, maybe not. Maybe he shot a gun 5 times. He doesn't know. It's very basic. So we bring them along. We give them the resources. We build the intelligence. We plug in what they need. We begin to do those operations until they learn to do it themselves. And all the places in the world we work are at different levels. But we do have some places in the world that, man, they are doing this every day with our oversight, right? And they're accomplishing these raids, rests, and rescues every single day, and that is success, and that encourages us that other regions of the world can do it. But yeah, we have to mitigate corruption, man. I mean, and I know sometimes I'm dealing with people who are corrupt, but I'm going to control that corruption in certain ways. So
Now, how does the faith component play into all this? Because obviously the work is noble in and of itself, but
right.
another
No, that's a
distinguishing
good question.
factor of Lantern Rescue is that you are faith-based and faith-driven. How does that influence the work that you guys do, and how does that make the work that you do look different than, say, any other kind of extraction type human trafficking organization?
I mean, I've been called a unique missionary, and my team are unique missionaries because no matter what our background is, our heart and motivation is for the preservation of the gospel and the promotion of it and the rescue of victims. And so, listen, when we train these SWAT units, we give them our testimonies. We talk about Jesus. We pray with them before and during training and after. They know we are Christians, and they know, they begin to see what that looks like through weeks of training. And they talk to us and they say, man, I want what you got, and they want to know more. And so we get very close and personal because these people are shoulder to shoulder with us. I'm going to know their children. I'm going to know their wives. I'm going to know everything about them, and we really pour into them that way. Then it's very important to us, too, that the victims that we rescue, that through the aftercare process that we help facilitate, that the result of it is the gospel is given, and that if there's therapy, that it's Christian-based therapy, and so we facilitate it. We work with the social services of that country, which can be very, very hard, very poor. But there's some incredible NGOs and aftercare partners that we find, we look for, and we're always doing that to better ourselves and to better our programs that do a fantastic job of doing the aftercare process.
Yeah, and the NGOs that you're referencing, are these also, they're American-based nonprofits that are operating in these other countries?
Yeah, for the most part.
That's incredible. And I mean, that's something that the Freedom Center is constantly talking about, is the exceptionalism of the United States and the importance of the freedom that we enjoy in this country that you helped protect is what makes this possible for organizations like Lantern Rescue to exist and other NGOs to be in these foreign countries that are filled with heavy corruption in their government. We often don't appreciate the differences in the value systems that we share here in the United States, which have their basis in Christian foundings that allow for opportunities and organizations like this to exist in the first place. And another, I guess, a consequence of that in the United States could be that people may not think that trafficking takes place here in America.
Right.
Is that true?
No, that is not true. Although there is a lot of sensationalized stories on social media that kind of make us think one way. No, they're not putting children in the cabinets and charging $10,000 for them. But they can buy all they want in Santo Domingo for $200. You know what I mean? So they're not going to do that. But there's definitely a human trafficking occurring in the States. And really, what I want to talk about, so overseas, there's the human involvement where the intelligence is a girl in a brothel or in a situation that has to be rescued and somebody has to be arrested, right? And somebody has to be prosecuted. Here in the States, this war right now, although that is somewhat there, it's really on the internet. It's really a digital fight with CSAM, child sexual abuse material. And the trading factor in the States is out of control. It's the numbers are
trading
scary.
Factor, you mean in those
men who are trading images of minors in all extreme situations, and we're talking sometimes live streaming, we're talking abusive material of a girl. It's incredible what our Homeland Security and FBI are up against. And so when people ask about human trafficking in the States, literally a lot of it is the result of an interaction online or through a phone or through an app that then it grooms a child or grooms a girl and entices into a relationship with an older man or somebody they thought, who now pimps them out. And not only is he pimping them out, he's taking pictures and he's selling those pictures to somebody else. I mean, we have a caseload nearby in a country that involves the U.S. that it's over 5,000 cases just in one office, and it's millions in the States. I mean, we're the largest consumer of that material in this country.
That's mortifying. I would imagine a lot of this happens on the dark web as well.
Yeah, it does, on Tor.
You're talking about with young children. A lot of young children today are on social media apps and where anybody can message them. if you're talking to a parent right now, because there are parents who watch our program, there's young people who watch our program, what advice would you give them about the access that they're allowing to their children and the dangers that that presents for something like a trafficking
I'm
situation?
glad you asked this because I just keep repeating myself in different radio shows over the last year, and I'm just going to stay with it because it's true. Control the child's phone. How foolish you are as a parent to give your 9-year-old a cell phone with access to anything and everything. You are dooming that child if you're not careful, because they will see pornography. They will be introduced to sexualized situations at an early age. I mean, we've got such a problem now. We have girls who are perpetrating boys. I mean, they're the ones who are like, the boy's not even asking for images, and she's throwing these images because she's on Instagram, and all she knows is that all the influencers are showing themselves
Posing in similar
in
fashion,
sexual ways.
right.
So she's just trying to do the same thing, and trying to get all the likes and all that motivation. But the access through the phone is so important to control. It's so important to control. Parents have got to control that phone.
And you're hearing that directly from somebody who works with human trafficking victims and who knows it firsthand. Because I talk to a lot of parents and they say, oh, yeah, I have some monitoring system on the phone, but you can see that their children have all of these apps and they basically have free access to all the applications. And that also opens the ability for anybody and everybody to send your child a message, and that can be the crux that leads into the grooming process that could draw them into that. Where can people find more about Lantern Rescue if they wanted to get connected with you and learn more about what you guys are doing? Where can they go?
Lanternrescue.org. So LANTERN, rescue, the word rescue.org, all one word. And there's plenty of information there and ways to email us and get in touch with us.
Excellent. And if you're feeling led to do so, I'm sure there's an opportunity to donate to them as well to help them with the work that they're doing. Please do spread awareness about this cause. As Mark was saying, there's a ton of youth in the United States who are getting caught up in this online, but there's also girls in other countries that don't have the support systems that we have here in America.
Yep.
So any support is appreciated. Mark, thank you
Thank
so
you,
much
brother.
for your time.
Fantastic. Thank you for this time.